Hello guys, welcome back. I figured out I hate this book. I knew it wouldn't take long. I knew it. Do not like this book. There are some things that don't go together. Claiming you are a priest of Jesus and that you worship Jesus. You know, if you're a priest, you lead the worship of Jesus. We all agree on this basic tenet of faith, right? You can't then claim Jesus was just a man. And then at the same time, there's a cosmic Christ who is God, and yet that's not historical Jesus. So there's three Jesuses that this dude believes in, and it's kind of the fantastic acrobatics that the UU Church does to have their cake and eat it too. It's a noble attempt, but it falls short. You either believe in the divinity of Christ or you don't. He does not, and yet he does. The pagan authors make about as much damn sense, because they're pick and choose pagan authors and they just grab something from one culture and shove it into another and go, it works because I say it does. The author that I thoroughly dislike that he included in his experts decided to say that Jesus was possessed by Jehovah in the same way people can be possessed and wooed on. Yet another example of white person voodoo that shouldn't surprise me because this person claims to be the horse and personal mouthpiece of the All-Father. And we all know how I feel about white people that claim to speak for European gods, don't we? And the rest of it is just as bad. If you're going to be proud of your new traditions that we're making up as we go along, you can't also say they're thousands of years old and they haven't changed since the beginning of mankind. You can't have both of these things at once. It's okay to have new traditions. It's okay to sit down and go, you know what? I don't accept Jesus as a divinity. I accept him as a man, and to think about that every so often, that's fine. But you can't say accept Jesus as divinity, meaning the only Son of God, meaning this and meaning that. It's nothing new. It's not reinventing the wheel, since I've done quite a bit of Christian, research over the years, thinking, where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? It's yet another well-meaning attempt that doesn't reinvent the wheel. If you took even a basic theology course in college, you know all this. He keeps proclaiming it's the hidden knowledge of priests. No, it's basic theology. You would get it in Hebrew scriptures, trust me. You could find it in YouTube. Just find a basic theology or biblical study. You can find it all. This dude is not reinventing the wheel. And at one point he wonders why he's being tried for heresy. Well, let me see. You're claiming to be a priest of Christ, yet you don't believe in his divinity, and you're also now a practicing druid, because of course you are. I don't care what you blend in your personal practice, but you can't expect the whole world, including an established church, to go along with you. It just doesn't work like that. If he wants to be, as he thinks, a priest of Christ, and again, I'm very confused because according to him, Christ was just a man. Yet he wasn't. Christ is also God, because we're all God now. I'm getting shivers. Can you feel the theological shivers? It's that pet peeve I have in that tendency of white people, because I've never seen people of other cultures do this. I'm sorry I haven't, but it's a tendency of white people to go all around the globe, picking out stuff they want, throwing it in their theological basket, and coming back and jamming it into places it never was and going, it fits. No, it does not. Jesus had nothing to do with food on. Jesus wasn't possessed. I can probably damn sure assure you of that. I never met the man personally 2,000 years ago, but I can pretty fucking assure you he wasn't possessed, because we would have some kind of narrative of, yeah, he started acting totally crazy, man. We just don't have that. We don't have a possession tradition from Jewish theology. It's just not there. Please stop doing the white person habit of going and grabbing something from another culture. And there's chakras and all this other stuff that Jesus wouldn't have known about or even remotely understood. It's the, oh, I don't believe in this woo. He doesn't believe in the woo of Jesus coming to America or Jesus going here or there, but he believes in the woo of Jesus understanding the chakras and all this other stuff that we don't have archaeological evidence for. And it throws me at the fucking wall. You guys know it does. And everybody in the book just goes and borrows from Buddhism and borrows from the African traditions and borrows from this tradition and borrows from that tradition, and none of it's theologically sound. And I wouldn't care if it was presented as this is New Age feel good woo. This is presented as a serious theological study by so-called experts. I'd like to beat them all with this goddamn book is what I like to do and tell them basic theology, which none of them seem to understand. I really should have become a Roman Catholic priest. I really should have, because I've fucking had it with pagans at this point. And the only conclusion I drew from this is that we can't have both. You have to make your choice at some point. You can do what you want, but eventually there does come a point where you gotta either say I'm pagan or I'm Christian, and you can't have both, because this book is prime example why they don't go together. Because either Jesus becomes this really smart guy who lived 2,000 years ago and accidentally had a religion built around him, or he is both that and a cosmic Christ, which means we're all God now. I'm trying not to scream. I'm sorry, but I was raised Roman Catholic and I had a damn year of theology in college, and I'm just trying not to scream. It's like he didn't pay any attention when he was a priest. And it's this mishmash, bibble babble, a feel good, yeah, wow moments, as one star reviewer said. And I read it before I went on Amazon to see if perhaps I was being too theologically picky. And these other people are like, no, he's just trying to not feel bad for being a priest and also wanting to be a turn is what he's trying to do. And I'm like, you know what, he can do him, but when he started talking about they're having raves for Jesus, if I can follow this properly, and people are being spontaneously healed of medical issues, my bullshit alarm went off. I thought, bullshit, because if this fucking happened, if people were being spontaneously healed, it would have been all over YouTube. Medical doctors would have gotten involved. We would fucking know about this, guys. We would. It would be wonderful if this bullshit worked. I'm gonna end up being an atheist is what I'm gonna do. So I'm sorry, but I don't like this book. And I made sure I waited years until other people got through with their crazies of reading this book and trying to be the first person on YouTube or write the first article on it. I made sure I waited a while so I could get it. And I just don't like it. If I knew it was a lot of white people viewed on, I would have just not even got it in the first place. I'm glad I got it half off. That's what I'm glad. So, yep, that ends the Adventures with Jesus. I don't know if Odin knew I'd have this reaction. I'm sure he did. He's pretty good at foresight. Because he knew, he poked me to read the article by the writer I don't like. And I think he knew, in fact, I know he knew that Apollo got drug into it too. Don't fucking draw Apollo into your argument about how Voodoo isn't everything because you're a white person, and I don't know, white people lose their damn minds sometimes. I'm sorry, but it's something I only see white people doing. I don't see, say, African American spirituality writers saying, oh yes, I'm going to go over here and grab this, and I'm going to go over there and grab that. And if they do, other people will laugh at them, shoot them down. So if you want to take every flavor in the New Age store, including Jesus, and throw them in a basket, that's about what you'll get out of this. I'm like, so much for this book. So I'm sorry, guys. I know that's kind of a downer, but I'm like, it just seems like nobody wants to be the adult in the room and say these two things don't go together. It's just a bunch of sad pagans that miss Jesus trying to pick up Jesus again, and either you have to strip him of his divinity and not have him as a god, or you have to have him as a god and then be tortured because he's one god only deal. This god's daddy does not share at all. Remember, he and his daddy are the same god. So I just want to correct my money, damn it. But if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.